Molweni baphulaphuli emakhaya namkelekile ke ku-N.J.talkshow. Namhlanje ke nikunye nam i-host yenu uNombulelo Joel, umamqwathi intombi yangapha eMountFletcher. Namhlanje bangcwele so privilege sikunye no Mr. Xola Mteto. uXola Mteto ke yi-filmmaker ekwayiyo ne-writer. Welcome to N.J.talkshow, Mr. Xola Mteto.
Yeah, it's good to be here. Thank you for having me.
So, Xola, can you please give us introduction about who you are?
My name is Xola Mteto. I am a filmmaker. I am a writer.
Yes.
I'm also a reader. I like reading a lot, and I'm a researcher. Yeah, and I believe I'm a human rights activist, and I'm a recovering optimist. Yeah, I know that's a long intro, but that's me. Yeah.
Okay, Xola, we are welcoming once again. We have a questions for you. The first question, I would like to know, what do you think it is a role of a man in the society?
The role of man or of a man in the society, I believe that it is to protect and it is to make sure that all things are running smoothly. It is to protect everyone, not just women, and it is to stop bad things from spreading. I feel like a role of a man, it is to fertilize the environment. I believe men should act as fertilizers for the environment that they are in. And I take this thought from the idea of you are the salt of the world. I actually researched this from Matthew first said it and then Luke then said it, and I found out that when Luke writes about it saying that you are the salt of the world, he doesn't actually mean like the table salt that we eat. I've heard a lot of preachers being like, yeah, and all of that, trying to make it as a food thing. But after connecting my research, I found out that it is actually a salt that is found in the Mediterranean. It's a salt from the ocean. Even if you can go there today, you will still see the salt. That salt, it was used to fertilize the fields, and it was used as a disinfectant in the toilet. I believe that's the role of men in the society, to fertilize wherever they are, and to act as a disinfectant to all the bad things that are happening, and to stop bad things from even growing. I feel like, that's the role of a man.
Okay. So when you look back into ancient days, the way women and men were living, what do you think went wrong in these days? Why the things that used to happen, they're no longer happening?
That's an interesting question. I feel like one can go on and on, trying to locate the point of error. I believe so many things has happened in African civilizations in particular. Because when you look back in the days, you would find functional societies where men and women were working together cohesively in trying to fight the catastrophe of existence. And when colonialism came, and I feel like that's when things started changing. Because I rescue myself from the view that when before colonialism, we were sick and we were uneducated and whatever. I feel like we were having functional societies. So many things changed. There were no differences between men and women. Now we know that a man has to wear a dress and a man has to wear a trouser. Back in the days, there was no demarcation, and women were working with their breast outside, and there was so little, I've never heard of any rape cases or sexual assaultment cases that were recorded at that time. So those were that's how we were somehow civilized, and then colonialism came, and we've lost so much, and then we became what we are, sort of like today as a result of that, you know. Yeah, we live in a society now whereby asayas bangubani umuntu omdala, we disregard abantu abadala. We've lost our traditions, we've lost our spirituality, we've lost ourselves, we've lost our identities, you know, and we have somehow subscribed into these new identities, you know, that these fourth, fifth, whatever revolutions are coming up with. And I feel like, yeah, I'm afraid of where we are going as a people. And I would like to say this, particularly as black people, as African people, you know. Yeah.
Okay. So do you have any ideal men back in the history who you can say that people can look up to mentorship, someone who is the role model, the men who are lost, the young men who are growing, who can look up to him?
Yeah, I think there's quite a number of people that one can sort of like reference, you know. And if you look at the current narrative today, no one is really speaking to men, but I feel like most of the attention is given to women, you know. And I feel like men do need attention, men do need empowerment, men do need to be conscientized as well, you know, because it's not like men are empowered or anything, you know. So yeah, if maybe I would like give out names of people that I would say when I look in history, they were the most ideal people, you know. When you look into maybe someone that you might all remember, the likes of Robert Sobukwe, you know, one would think of him as just as a politician. I feel like he was a father to somebody. He was a husband to someone. Yet at the same time, I'm here to like take the bullet for the whole nation, you know, South Africa. And I've read some of his writings where he would say one time he was in prison and they were all arrested, and he was one of the most influential prisoner. And when the people who arrested him in Robben Island learned that it's the Robert Sobukwe, they thought, okay, let's give him like some special treatments, let's give him like trousers and whatever to wear, and like warm clothes and like blankets, and isolating him out of so many prisoners. And he rejected them because he was like, what you wanna do for me, please do it to the rest of the inmates. You know, I feel like those are the men that we can like look up to, especially when you look at history, especially in our generation. I feel like he was able to fertilize the environments that was in. I feel like he was able to stop bad things from spreading, you know, taking that initiative of actually fighting the system. And we need more fighters we need more like freedom fighters other than people who are killing and raping and all of that. We need more role models. We need more Robert Sobukwe like people in our societies, you know?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much. I remember our chats previously, as we are chatting, you mentioned something about who is empowering men, because our society is broken. That was very powerful to me, because every sermon that I've always attended, we always see it's only focusing into women's are empowering each other. And then you'll see that we invite people from outside, people who are known to empower women's. But who is empowering men? Can you please enlarge into that conversation?
This is super interesting because you would find that most of the people, you know, that are somehow steering trouble in our societies are men. You know, you would find that if you talk about crime, if you can do your research now and find out like who's doing crime, you would find out that most of those people are men. we've got like high prisoners, and those people are men. What I'm trying to say is most perpetrators of violence, are men. And then when you're trying to fix everything, you sort of like focus on the victims alone. I feel like there's something that needs to be done to men as well, and I think men need to be empowered, not just like empower women alone, because I don't subscribe to the idea of men are trash, men are whatever. I feel like the society is broken, out of the things that happened in the past. And in our approach to solving that problem, we should be empowering men and women, not just women alone.
Yes.
We should be holding seminars focusing on both genders, because right now I feel like we're sitting on a time bomb if we're gonna empower only women. Now imagine you go back home empowered to your non-empowered men, and you bring up all these facts, all the women rights and everything, and you corner your men with too much facts. And we know for sure that men they're like a cobra. Once you corner them with too much facts, they just start striking, because at the core, I feel like there's something that is so intrinsic in men that they somehow defend their ego through violence, and we've seen this manifesting in history. I feel like once you attack a man's ego, they become violent, and we need to start like focusing on those things as well, not just like empowering women also. So yeah.
So do you think maybe there's something need to be done as well as the women, or only to men's as well? What do you think maybe need to be done?
That's an interesting question. I feel like we both need to go back and work cohesively. First of all, I think I would be hypocritical if I would say women must start educating men, because some women are not educated or are not, let me use the word empowered. Women must start empowering men or whatever. I feel like we need to start like empowering one another. Once maybe I react in a certain way, you somehow like have the heart of taking me through, because I feel like, okay, I don't want to go into this ideology of where evil existed, because I feel like evil was once good and it was broken, and it started desiring evil or bad things for other things, and then that's how sort of like evil sort of like evolved, because I feel like there's no one who's born a devil. We have like kids in Grooteskill right now, they all innocent, they will go through life, and in the process of their upbringing, some things will be lost, they will be broken, they will acquire different things, they will be indoctrinated by either religion, societies, cultures, or whatever, and they will become what they are. So I feel like we should be more lenient towards one another. We should be more willing to rescue, to help, to empower, to work cohesively as a human race. And if we are empowering each other, let's empower everyone, and then see how our societies are going to become. I should also add the fact that Africa is being robbed of its true identity, and I feel like it is the manifestation of that robbery that we see in our societies today. Because when you read history, when you read literature, you would actually find out that we are portrayed as these barbaric, promiscuous people who are from the jungle, people who have no order, hungry, disorderly and angry, people who has no logic. I feel like we need to rectify that, because it's somehow doing us bad now. For the fact that we are portrayed as these bad things, I feel like Africa, when you really read history more critically, you'd find out that we actually come from greatness. I feel like we come from greatness, and it's something that we need to be told. men, they are not just violent, they are not just whatever. You know, men were once kings. You know, we've had kings, we've had all of these things, and men once protected women, and men once did all these good things when you look at history. But like one of the things that I'm against is the fact that when they wrote history, they wrote it upside down. Do you get what I'm saying? And I feel like that is affecting us. They robbed us of our true identity. You know, if we knew that we came from greatness, then I feel like we would be behaving in a very different way.
Ndiyathemba ukuthi ke uye wayonwabela ke i-show yethu yanamhlanje no Mr. Mteto. Sifollowishe ke ku N.J.talkshow ku YouTube channel wethu N.J.talkshow. Stay blessed and stay beautiful. I love you.